All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining myself and our guest speaker here, Jasdeep, who is from Zebra. And like I said, this is not the zebra that you see in the zoo, yeah? This is Zebra technology itself. And Jasdeep is the subject matter expert on this topic called modernizing your warehouse. We are very privileged to have Jasdeep here today with us, who actually going to share a little bit more on his thought leadership of how Zebra technology can actually help you to make your warehouse that much more automated, that much more intelligent. So Jasdeep, I'll hand the floor over to you to take our audience through what is this topic all about. Thank you, Jasdeep.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good over there. Just let me start over. So for this journey, it's all about a journey. How do you go on your warehouse modernization? There's many stages in life. So what we can see in today's journey, we have very complex supply chains that happening globally. If you can see today, with COVID has taken place, with the global supply chains issue, there's many things we would like to automate. Many organizations has realized that going on manual entries are no longer something that they are looking at. They're looking something that they can automate from stage to stage. So over here, I will share with you on the journey how we can help to improve your processes, or actually to share with your processes to do fulfillment or distribution in a warehouse. So, okay, what usually happens in a warehouse? There are few things. We always face visibility gaps. You see, just like imagine that you you are a contract manufacturer and you're the product principal. There's many times that the EDI or the information that translate back to the manufacturing plant, they do not have the visibility. Why? Because there are many things in shortage. Just put it this way: labor shortage, volumes, you get disconnected from your workers and workflow. How do you achieve this, or how do you solve all these pains? Are you going to provide a system into place, or are you just going to create a barcode scanning into place, or are you going to automate more by doing real-time tracking? So these are some points that we face on our daily routine. I walked into many warehouse. Usually when we walk, we see a lot of kind of challenges. From the labor doesn't knows where to start, or they knows where to start because they have some tools to guide them. Okay, so in this demand economy, we can see that labor intensive in the warehouse is increasing 50%. You can see the demand is increasing. When we came COVID time, the picking volume has went like, I had one customer, retail, so they went into e-commerce. They were picking 1 million of SKUs in a day, and they have only that set of operational labors involved. They have 50 labors, where they used to do 300,000 picking in a day. Now they had to do a 1 million picking. So these are the things that we need to look. And we do realize that in this industry, we need to automate. Why? Because the turnover time is actually, or the labors are actually very high. You can see with global supply chain, with all the labors, fulfillment from the immigrants are very hard to get these days. And with this, we can see the training that we need to do. If we do into a manual system, it takes up to 90 days to get them into a system. Where else, if you have something into place, how it goes. Okay, so how do industry leaders view in modernization? Okay, we've seen a lot. We've seen from small, medium enterprise till large enterprise. I can assure you and tell you, in Malaysia here today, yes, we are speaking industry 4.0, but many of our customers are still in industry 1.0, 2.0, or 3.5, the max. I don't see them going right up to 4.0 yet. Okay, so we can see 80% of the technology are necessity to be competitive into this, and the reporting is the most important thing to know. because you want to know what are your stocks into your shelf that you want to put in and go out. Okay, so let's discuss a little bit on this journey. So we can reduce, we can streamline, we can turn around the outbound process, reducing the congestion. So if you see today, in the ports, we have a lot of congestion. So our stocks has arrived, but it's always stuck in the port because we do not have enough vessels to ship it out to the right destination in the right time, and to place these vessels in the right location. There's many things that we could take into factor. So there is always three facades of modernization. We call it the sense, analyze, act, and optimization in a warehouse. Okay, so for this, mainly we've seen many of our customers are still in the phase zero. That means they do basic capturing. How they do basic capturing is they still using Excel based kind of capturing. That means they are just writing down, okay, I have this 10 amount of items going out, coming in, the demand, or they're just taking a purchase order and walking around into the warehouse and do. How do we optimize this mobility? It's of course worker driven and transaction data. So the first thing that we can do in this journey is to use barcode or key entry. So barcode is the super basic things that I believe every warehouse require. So they can print barcodes, they can scan barcodes, they can see what are the items moving. The second thing that usually we see is how do we act with this data that we have. Once we have this data captured, we can translate this data to analyze and target this into a real-time visibility. So that's where the dashboard comes out. Okay, it takes into place. Then we also have like the third level of a warehouse is all about the sensors, location, and then let me go into more detail into the phase one. So usually when we go into a warehouse, we always try to do a walkthrough and understand what is customers' pinpoint pain. Where do they want to achieve? What do they want to achieve in the first phase? Or do they want to go something more automated, or they want to go something very basic? Everything got to do related with your costs end of the day. So normally when we see into warehouse, we see that they want something they can do mobility. They will take a scanner and they will do some scanning. Okay. So the sense of this is, will they able to achieve the task what they've been doing for 7 days into a 5 days workaround? Yes, it's possible using certain devices, which I will share on the next. Okay, so with this, we can connect to the workers and the workflow with the integration. Okay, so the time to modernize is actually the most painful process. If you see in the journey to start this process, we need to improve the individual worker, the behavior that they goes about it. So the first act or the first stage is all about labor intensive. The third stage usually we will use more automated like RFID, motion works, something we don't need human intervention. They just need to carry the items and walk around into the warehouse. So this is where we can see the shift that happens, how we improve the productivity from first level to the second to the third level that goes. So I'm just sharing up to the third because there's many times we see that the users that does things in the warehouse, they want something to automate, but they don't want something too advanced because of the cost of it. Okay, so if we see again, these are the phases we will see. The first phase, usually what we see in the warehouse is they want to reduce all the error. So the SKUs, that means they are scanning 100 SKUs in a day. They want to reduce the missing items or the error items. Like to take example, they have a product of 100 SKUs that needs to go out in a day, but out of the 100 they are only able to achieve a good of 60 SKUs to be scanned out, and another 40 is just sent to the wrong processes, to the wrong destination, to the wrong process. I do believe you as a user, have you all experienced where your delivery items does not come on time, or there is a communication breakdown in between from the warehouse to the sorting center? So the second thing, once we manage to increase the individual worker by reducing the gaps of all the errors, the second thing we always look into, how do we communicate better between one line to another line. So communication is very important when we have some sort of WMS into place. What is WMS? Is a warehouse management system. You need a basic system to manage, to automate. That means when you scan, there is something that you need to do next. If you are scanning an item and this item is not the destination it should go, it should pop up an error. So these are the things that will help you. We've seen a lot of customers, they are really doing something very slow process, data entry. They are typing in, or they ship out the items, then they are putting it into their system. So the visibility of these items are not there. Then in the third phase, we talk about integrating. So we use human initiative, but scan these items based on automated. We can use RFID. Why? Because we want to reduce the poor assets visibility, allowing the bottlenecks to go about it. We've seen a lot of legacy system. They are super not dynamic. It's like a waterfall model. You need to follow process. If you need this item urgently, let's take an example. The retailer store needs an item of 30 pieces the next day, but in the legacy system, they do not have a urgent picking system. They only have something, okay, you pick, you fulfill, and you send it over. So this is the turnaround time that happens. You lose a lot of businesses. Okay. So the following one, fourth phase, I will share with you. You can anticipate the best of your guidance. So you lack of visibility, but the system, once you're moving forward with it, it will give you a guidance. Where is it? Like your forklift, how do you want this forklift driver? Do you want him to scan while sitting on the forklift, or he needs to come down and scan item by item? Or do you want him to do a long range scanning where he can reduce his time? Or do you want to carry an RFID? You just scan the items, you just put it on the forklift, you walk around. And the fifth one, the phase is only it's prescriptive ways. So the human initiative, it will not be holistic, but once you put into a real-time tracking, you will know where the item is moving in the warehouse, where is it, so you can track it in a very single stage. Okay, so I come to this. If you see over here on the right, this forklift driver has ability to scan in a distance. So this is what I'm telling. If you see, he's just scanning right next to the box. But what about the boxes or the shelf on top? It is able to scan. We are coming up with a mobile computer here, vehicle mount. So they are able to do the work in a glance. So they are picking the items based on instructional base. The warehouse management will tell you, okay, you have a set of 20 items to pick. These 20 items that you would like to pick from this shelf, this shelf, this shelf. The warehouse management is very intelligent enough that they will tell you, okay, since you're in this location, you pick these 3 items. It's intelligent enough to let you know where the items are and how you can go about it. Okay, so how do you improve all this? You really require some devices that will help you to go about it. Like I said, you need a scanner device. Like over here, the usual conventional thing that I see first thing in the warehouse is they will require to invest in like a mobile computer, a scanner. Like if you see on the left here, we have a lot of customers of ours using MC93 to do scanning. It's a rugged-based scanner. I won't touch too much on the hardware. I will share based on the productivity. They are able to scan continuously 8 hours without any disruption. Whereas if they are using paper-based, they are not able to really track and know what is the items that it require. And we can see in the operational point of view, you also will require a mobile printer while you're doing all this picking. At times you can see the labels, the boxes gets damaged, they need to reprint immediately, and then they need to resume work. So these are some of the hardwares or the points that you can take to see how he can help you. We have like customers, they are scanning like same barcode, they need to scan single conventional method. With Zebra, we also have something we call this multi barcode scanning. They can scan all the boxes. You just imagine it's a contact lens box, it's a small box, all are carrying the same barcodes, and he needs to scan one by one, pick, scan one, pick, scan one. But with Zebra scanners, you can scan all at one go, and you can know how many unique boxes or SKUs you have. These are some of the points that we do in our Zebra DNA mobility. The second one, we talk about OCR. We see many boxes these days, they do not have barcodes because some contract manufacturers or manufacturers, they are still in talking about dollar and cents. Are we able just take a normal printed box numbers to be scanned? Yes, there is a functionality, we call it OCR. Conventionally, this OCR only applies in your computer base or scanning base. So now you can just use Zebra scanners to do this. So these are also some of the viewpoints that I can see. When they have all this in place, they can also manage the securities, the data leakages, the visibility of the items and the hardwares. These hardwares are well managed enough, or do we need any additional attention? The most important thing we see in a warehouse, operators are being operators, they do not want to manage the devices, so the system has to help them to manage. At 8 a.m., are they taking the devices out with 100% battery level, or they are just taking these devices out of 40% and telling boss the battery is down, I can't do the scanning? So with this, you have something called visibility IQ foresight, where you can know uh, all this behavior and trend. Are the user complaining because they are not doing the right productivity, or it's a attitude behavior that we need to improve in their work space? So the second phase, we talk how do we achieve this productivity. Of course, focus and consistency on the accuracy. We increase the visibility on the assets of the workflow once we have the right solution into place. You see over here, we also have some barcodes over here. We call this Zebra IQ color. So the color-based thermal printing will give you a guided overview. Okay, this item needs to be printed, or this item is a special item only able to be picked by certain users. At times, users, when they go and scan or they need some guidance, we also have some sensitive items. Just imagine you have like cold sensitive items. If the items already it gets out of the temperature, it should be rejected. You just imagine a medical grade, just like our COVID, um, Pfizer's vaccines. All this vaccine actually comes with a special label. If the item has been exposed into a warm weather or hot weather, it will give a separate color to tell, okay, this vaccine has been exposed to this kind of environment, you can't use this item. So we have this kind of tools to help you to manage your productivity. Why do you need this? Because workers being workers, they can't be giving you 100% accuracy or the visibility. Just imagine they are transferring from one truck to another container, or there is some blackout happens, or sometimes they do face this kind of situation. And the third one I would like to share here today, just imagine that you are scanning something, very small items. We need a right hardware to work with this kind of environment. We've seen in some environment, we do guided picking. Guided picking means it will be a color base. They'll just wear a wearable smart glass with a scanner, on a ring scanner, and they will able to adapt and learn this learning curve within 30 minutes. A new worker just need to wear the glasses, and he will see on his glasses where is this item, so he can scan. So with this, they can execute the job faster. So again, you're using mobile computer, ring scanner, These are two things. Or you can also use voice directed operation. Go to L1 BC and pick this item. It will give you a guidance. So once you go there, you scan the item, it will tell you go to the next next shelf to one. So all this is also important. You see, many times also customer face this kind of issue. They have devices into place, but all these devices are not optimized into the environment, like the keystrokes. How do they the UI is not rugged enough. Or you know that when we have rugged environment, the devices drops, screen breaks. How do you manage this? You need something more rugged, more enterprise grade, where you can help you into doing this. And the third one, I also face like this is real scenario. Um, we went into environment. The retailer store is front end, and they have their warehouse or their storage area in the back end. So normally, what happens in a conventional retailer, you ask sales, "Hey, do you have this size and this item?" What the salesperson has to do is take that item, goes into the back warehouse, find the item while the customer is waiting in the front end. So we have tried to optimize this environment where what the salesperson does, the salesperson just scan the items. The person in the warehouse, in the back room, he will get a job queue. Okay, this item, this size needs to be shipped out to the main retail area. It will be sent over immediately. And what happens this is actually you are able to do conversion and retain your customers. You are giving a good customer experiences in their purchase, on their shopping behavior. Or not, they will be waiting for too long, and then the turnaround time takes too long. Okay, so the third one over here usually we face is how do we integrate the assets visibility with the utilization of the operation. We need to identify the process where there's lacking. So usually when we walk into the warehouse, we've seen there's a lot of places where they need to optimize, but they do not know how to start, where to start. So just take an example over here. This outbound shipment is going. Is actually we can do if all these labels are RFID enabled. They just need to go through a gantry, and all these items will be tracked automatically. Okay, just imagine they have like pile of boxes of cartons. They are going up 50 cartons, 100 cartons, and they need to clear the items out of the staging area within a certain X number of hours. So with this, we can see the big picture of your device being used in different processes. You can identify and do your mission critical for your compliance point of view. Let's take an example. Asset inventory. We need to check on the assets on the warehouse areas. What is our existing stock? We need to do stock tick. Where a manual process, you need to take a pen and a paper and you start ticking. It may take days, up to 7 to 10 days, and you need to shut down the operation for that particular days. But if you have an automated system in place, you are able to do your scanning just in a go. Maybe you just need to close your warehouse in a day for 12 hours, or maybe you just need to close the section for a few hours to do the scanning. You will able to see your workaround time faster. With this, I will say again, the operators that you need or the workforce that you need will able to reduce, or the same workforce are able to do more tasks into the head. This is mainly for your operation point of view. So we also have something called greater asset visibility and utilization proximity point of view. So in we can see, are they doing the work within the area? Where are they walking around? I have like warehouse, or a lot of warehouse managers came to me. Hey, Jasdeep, I'm able to track my warehouse management system on the product, but I'm not able to track, are my operators doing at the best optimization or not? Are they going for too long breaks or not? So we have something called Zebra Motion Works Proximity, where you are able to do all these kind of sensors to know where they are, We are also able to do, like, when we are in COVID time, we are able to give the social distancing. You are able to do the sanitization of the devices. Okay, the most important is contact tracing. That means this area in this floor, are they in the right location? Are they doing the right task, or they are just lazing around at the corner? So these are some things you can do when you go to your stage 3 kind of phase. Okay, so with that, I would say RFID comes into this automation point of view with the greater asset visibility, as I said just now. Okay, so RFID, I believe it's something easy, but it's something complex also. It very depending on your processor. Some some warehouses it's very friendly to use RFID. Some warehouses it can be very unfriendly. We can take a limitation point of view where you have a lot of metals. You need to see how do you overcome with that. So there is a set of processes that you need to follow. That's where we said we only can put this kind of processes in a phase 3, because phase 1 is all about introductory, where the users will know, oh, I need to do the processes to improve the I need to do these processes to improve the flow of the one. Second phase is always about behavior, getting familiarization. The third phase is for them to get automated once they have all the SOPs in place, because there's a lot of SOPs that needs to take into place, ISO and so on. Okay, so this one I won't touch. Then with this visibility, you can also have your printers. Just imagine in your environment, we have like a customer, they have around 300 printers in their environment. Every month, what happened, their IT operation point of view needs to go to every printer and check, are these printers working fine or not? And they need to send different kind of configuration every month, because the product changes, the setting changes based on the template. So you can push all this by operational using a printer profile manager. That means we have a PPME kind of a software where you can remote all this and you can do all these changes on the go. Okay, with this, what I can anticipate the next move, you can also fully automate people's inventory and providing visibility. When the item moves from one area to another area, we can provide you the XYZ location, the real-time location. What is the real-time operation happening in the warehouse? This is where we talk about accuracy that you may want to track, and you want to target savings for your project. You see, if you can do a turnaround time where the operation previously you are doing 8 hours, now if I can do it within 4 hours or 3 hours, it saves a lot of operation time, and the picking, you can increase your capacity of your usage of your same existing warehouse. Because what happens usually, if the warehouse the stocks are just idle there, it's moving very slow, they are also not able to bring in more stocks to stock up and go. So this is where I was telling, we have something called some new technology over here, ATR 7000. We call this RTLS, real-time locationing solution. We are able to see where the item is and moving. We have like one customer, they have like stocks, or I would say a little bit in the manufacturing plant. They want to track where is this item moving, because they are manufacturing, they have cassettes that they use that to put inside their machines to produce the chipsets. They need that kind of one. And most of the time, what is operator done, they just will take, they will do a job, then they will not take back and keep back to the right location. Or just another way of saying, you need a set of 10 tools to start your job to do an assembly. But at times, what happened, this person is taking these items from this area to another area. Can we create a motion area locationing solution to find all these items in a glance, in a dashboard? Yes, we can, using this sort of technologies. I think now ultra wideband is very famous. It's getting high accuracy. Even you can see in your mobile devices, we are getting these UWB solutions. Okay, the lastly, what we can say, once we have all the system ready, it's all about data. You're going, you want to do adaptive and proactive performance improvement. You want to create artificial intelligence. With Zebra Data Services, we can tell, okay, this area you can improve with the data, and it's scalable. based on the usage. Yeah, it's a very open-ended. What kind of things you want to achieve in a warehouse modernization, we are able to cater on this. Okay, so what I will say in a glance, we have managed to deliver a lot of customers' needs based on purpose-driven designs. So every environment is unique to every customer. We are able to go in and understand, okay, these are the environment, we need to have this kind of devices, this kind of system to help to improve the process. Okay, we can use mobile workflows to help to improve the processes. We've seen a lot of workflow processes, approval processes in the office, but what happened in your operation point of view? Do we have this kind of workflows in place to do collaboration and real-time guidance? As I said, the one that you can do picking. So any labor who comes to work, you say that you need 90 days of training, the facts that we have studied previously. Now they are able to do real-time picking based on guidance. The next 30 minutes after he gets training, he just follow. He just need to follow blindly the system, and he's able to achieve carrying parts and purpose and data-powered environment. This is how we go about it. Okay, so for every step in warehouse modernization, there is three main things that we always think: maximize ROI, reduce risk, modernize faster. So at the first stage, I don't think you can maximize your ROI because there is some investment you need to take and put into place. But will stage two, stage three help you to improve your ROI? Yes, because we don't see ROI in a year. We need to see it in a total solution point of view for your workers, optimization and workflow. So we've seen a lot in COVID time. What has happened is a lot of warehouses, they want to modernize. They want to reduce the usage of operators. Why? Because it's very hard to get labor these days, and it's very expensive and labor intensive, and the resignation is also very high. So with that, the automation and the synchronization happen. And the third one, we always say modernize faster. The IT operation and the frontline workers are able to support. Okay, just not going much into detail. Zebra has been a company based on 50 years. We've been doing barcodes for the past 50 years plus. We are the market leader for mobile computer, data capture, barcode printer, RFID. So in a global name, we are over there. And our second brands and all are not really much into an R&D base. What I can see in Zebra, year-on-year growth, we do spend at least 500 million to do a lot of R&D work to improve the processes. Even it can be a mobile computer, but how do we take a barcode and improve these processes for a barcode? Do we optimize? Then you're using a camera-based barcode versus a dedicated barcode. It really gives you a difference. Okay, so I will say again, there you can see 444 million R&D we spent year-on-year growth. We are 4.22 million sales on yearly growth. We have 44,000 patents. So year-on-year, we have a lot of patents that we build, and we build it on purpose. Even we can see as RFID has taken a lot into place. With today, we have a lot of chipsets on RFD40 that we are really moving forward. If you are in Malaysia, of course, it's nothing related to warehouse. If you are in the toll booth of Plus Highways, you can see the RFID lane. Sometimes we have failures of RFID reading from the vehicles, and the traffic gets clogged up, especially in Plus Highway, Plus toll booths. They will be using Zebra devices, RFID mobile devices, to scan your vehicle to actually allow you to go pass through it. Okay, so just a small success stories that I would like to share with you with Exik. So we had this customer, ASIC based. So they are using Zebra devices. We were able to increase their warehouse productivity by 10%. Why? Because when the items comes into, previously they were just scanning using a normal barcode scanner. When they invested into our mobile computer, they started scanning much more faster. Their hands were more free. The scanning rate was faster, and this helped them to reduce their paperwork. because they do not need to approve in the paper using. And then from the IT point of view, they manage to increase their operational visibility. Let me take you something simple with Malaysia based. We have some retailers in their warehouse. What they want to achieve, like especially they want to get orders in. That means if a store orders an item for today, they want this item to be shipped out by tonight. So they have real time solutioning where whatever orders that comes in immediately, like now you place an order, immediately a picker will go and pick the item and try to ship out the items or put it into a standby area for the staging. This is something we do on our daily basis. You can come speak with us. We can share our journey. Today is just a very high level speaking that I have to speak about it. So with that, I will end my slide. So let's see if there's any question.
Yes, that was a very informative session. I didn't realize that you guys had so many patterns and so many exciting technologies, right, that you guys have put forward, right? Again, it's a very, very education session for me personally. Yes, we do have some questions. Just allow me to read that up here, and I'll post it to the so-called audience as well. Okay, let me just post this question and project it out. So it says here, if we start to do warehouse automation that the way that you have so-called suggested, right? How do we address the security concern? I think this is actually not just the physical part, right? In terms of things going, missing or misplaced or the label get torn out. I mean, in terms of the overall strategy, how do we address this from a security point of view? Can you share a little bit more on this?
Okay, there's few layers of security. One is operational
Right.
security, another one is IT security. So today I will try to answer you based on the IT security. So we see
Yes,
now we
please.
are embarking into Android technology. The Android devices
Mm.
that we have in Zebra is fully Android enterprise grade. It's
Oh,
it's not like a consumer like our devices. The hacking, the cracking happens very easily, and we also give you updates. Like now we are, if you invest in a hardware of Zebra, you start with Android
right.
11, the journey ends at Android 14. But nevertheless, but many of our customers, they said, hey Jasdeep, I do not want to upgrade to up to Android 14. I want to maintain to Android 11. Are you able to give patches? Yes, we are able to give you patches,
Oh, okay.
a minimum of 3 plus 3. That means 6 years up to 10 years. So even though
Wow.
Android Google setting, okay, consumer base, I give you maximum 3 years of patches. After that, we don't
Mm.
support you anymore. But in Zebra, we can support you up to 10 years. This is a life cycle that we will see. And I also seen a lot of my customers, our legacy customers, they are still using MC92, MC91. They are
Mm.
using it 13 to
Okay.
15 years.
Wow, that's actually a very, very long run of the so-called system itself, which I think if I were a owner of a warehouse, right, I think that actually guarantees my return on investment when you actually give me that assurance, right, to say, hey, don't worry, John, we will take care of security, patches are available, and all that, all through the life cycle in that sense, right? That's fantastic to know. Okay, great. I have another question here. I think this is actually, let me just project that question out. It says here, you mentioned earlier that the highest level of automation that you're seeing today, based on your engagement with some of the customers, right, is around level 3.5. So I think the audience here, Brian, is actually a bit curious to say, what does it take to move to automation a higher level? I know you mentioned earlier about budget, but apart from budget, what are the constraints that is actually causing a concern, right?
Okay, concern is very simple. It's all about
Mm.
shift of operation point of view. Because we have the legacy or the senior sitting there, they are not allowing it to change the operation or certain individual.
Okay.
So when we do a change of management, that's why we say we need to cater the first level to give the education at level at the stage one
Right,
phase.
right.
Then second phase, we do optimization. The third phase, we
Uh-huh.
see how we can automate the items. Because once they are used with this kind of WMS systems into place, they will know, oh, they can see the benefit. Then they will themselves come back to you, say, hey, boss, can you do me this area? Can you help me to improve this processes? We've seen a lot places happen
Mm.
like this. Like what happened is, so when we come to stage 3, we talk about RFID, we talk about locationing
Right.
solution. So we've seen a lot. We start with one area first. They seen this area. They seen, this team has started. They seen their work and the operation has reduced. So now it's my
Oh.
turn to do it. So that's where it happens. It will take a wave, like a wave. You start from
Right,
1
right.
to 3. We also have some customers. They go to stage 2, then they stop using the application because the operation wants to use it, but the IT doesn't support proper. So the right investment, the right
Okay.
partner needs to be there to guide for this journey.
So this whole automation thing, if I'm hearing from you, Jasdeep, correctly, right, is also a change of the mindset, especially like you mentioned, the workers itself, right, at the basic level needs to accept the fact that this is actually a better way of doing things. It improves the efficiency, right? It helps the business to drive for more value to their so-called customers or stakeholders out there, right? So I'm really surprised that, I mean, it all comes back to that mindset change, so it's not about, I mean, you guys have the great technology, you have the system in place and all that, right? So it comes back to that change management that you spoke about. Oh, that's very interesting though, Justin. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have one last question. I think it's from Pradeep. He says, assume, let me just project it out. Apologies, let me just put that up. He says, assume you continue to integrate with SAP. I think you guys do integrate with that, right? If there is
Should not
some
be
of
a
the bigger
problem.
software out there.
Pradeep,
Okay.
no issue. You're using SAP. I believe your barcode stage 1, stage 2 is there. So you want to go automation with RFID also is possible. We will have we have an API to do the syncing back. We will just create a connector between your
Wow.
system with us. Or all our Zebra devices are certified for SAP, HANA, and so on. We are there.
Wow, that's great. That's great. That means that you guys are actually ready to go. So, Pradeep, I think maybe after this, just quickly reach out to Jasdeep if you need a so-called conversation. Maybe Jasdeep, you can actually buy coffee for Pradeep and have a discussion to see how this can actually work. I mean, that will be great in that sense, because I think if I were Pradeep, I would be very assured to say that, okay, Jasdeep said not to worry. We've got an API. The technology is ready. We just have to have coffee and then just discuss that, right? Fantastic. All right. I think there is no more question from the audience. Again, I want to thank Jasdeep for really spending this afternoon with us. Like I said, I've actually learned a lot of stuff from Jasdeep about how actually automation can be done in a warehouse perspective. And also interesting to learn that it actually comes from the very, very fundamental mindset change of the workers, right? Like Jasdeep highlighted, it has to be started off from a small functional area, a small group, to slowly actually get the whole thing going. And like I said, it's a great technology, it's a great way of doing it. Thank you, Jasdeep, for sharing that with us. Right, for the rest of the audience, I'm going to let you know that we're going to start the other track a little bit later, which is at 4 o'clock sharp. We will have different speakers as well. Again, we thank you again, Jasdeep, really for your time. We hope to catch you again in the next session. Hopefully, the next time we can actually get you to share a little bit more as well on what else can we do. Right? Thank you, everybody, for coming for this session. And thank you, Jasdeep, again.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Everyone.